here at the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety, where that flag, as we said, is lowered to half staff this morning. Right now, we're joined by the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety Police Chief Jeff Hadley. Thank you so much for taking the time this morning to be with us.
Sure.
Can you explain what these last 24 hours have been like for your department?
Well, you know, it's been hectic, obviously. The national spotlight has shined bright on Kalamazoo in the last 24 hours, and not in the manner in which we would like it. But with that said, our men and women are holding up pretty good. They're a little tired. Our dispatchers as well. They've done such an amazing job handling all the attention, all the requests for information, the phone calls. I probably did 15 to 25 phone interviews yesterday from media outlets all over the country, and that's just it is what it is. So I'm so proud of this community, my organization, the men and women that represent us every day out there, doing the work of the community, and I'm just so very proud of them. And with that said, our heart continues to go out to the families of the victims from this shooting, and we're here for them, and we're going to do our best as a community to support them.
And there's so many out there this morning who are still grappling with that question of why. Do we have any more information as to why Dalton chose these places that he did, the suspect in this, why the people, why? Well,
we don't have any answers for that, and that's probably one of the most frustrating pieces of this investigation. All indicators are that this was completely random. The victims were essentially in the wrong place at the wrong time, and happened to be in the same proximity as Mr. Dalton. So it is frustrating, and we're continuing to ferret out any motives that we could, latch onto that give us some reasonable understanding of why these things occurred. But we just don't have that yet. The detectives have been busy getting the case ready so Mr. Dalton can be arraigned today. We'll start pushing forward on other aspects of the investigation in terms of his activities in the 24 hours prior to these events happening, the Uber driver component of it. All those things will be handled in due time. But my investigators have been extremely busy trying to get a solid, comprehensive case together for arraignment today.
And for you, Chief Hadley, I know yesterday was an emotional day. How are you holding up this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. And you draw strength from many people, my men and women especially. I'm so inspired by them and the stuff that they do. I'm not out there doing the work, quite frankly. I'm standing in here, doing my work, which is dealing with the media and stuff like that. But we got great people, many comments and text messages and emails from across the country, friends, family, giving their support. So I'm just very proud to be a member of this community.
And I'm sure, the last 24 hours, as you said, have been exhausting for you and your force. And the next days, the weeks to come will certainly be as well. But thank you so much for joining us this morning, and continue your vigilance out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, as we move on, as we turn that page to Monday morning and we look to that question of why, we do remember those 6 innocent lives that were lost here in all of this. We'll go through that. We'll go through all of this throughout the day. We'll have live team coverage here in Kalamazoo. Today, we're hoping to find out just a little bit more about the suspect. He is expected to be arraigned this afternoon in court, which we will be at. I want to bring in 24-hour News 8's Amanda Jarrett right now. Amanda's got more on the suspect and more on what we can expect to learn this afternoon.
Casey, I was just talking to the police chief off camera here a second ago to try to figure out exactly when Jason Dalton may be in court. He says likely this afternoon, but they're not exactly sure on a time at this point. But he will face multiple murder charges. Today is his first hearing. We discovered over the weekend that Dalton was an Uber driver, and he was picking up passengers in between these shootings. Now, we talked to an Indianapolis area man who wants to be called Derek. He was Dalton's last Uber passenger before Dalton was arrested. Derek, his wife, and his in-laws had taken in a show in town. They were at Bell's Eccentric Cafe and heard there was a shooter on the loose. So they decided it would be safer to take an Uber back to their hotel rather than walk. By that time, 6 people had been killed, 2 others hurt. They had no idea their driver would be the man arrested for the shooting spree a short time later. Derek told us he even asked his driver, Dalton, if he was the shooter.
My father-in-law mentioned from the back seat that there was the situation, what was happening, and I kind of jokingly said to the driver, you're not the shooter, are you? And he gave me some sort of a no response, like he shook his head or he said no. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm just tired. And we proceeded to have a pretty normal conversation.
Just chilling when you think about that. In that conversation, Derek told us he's still trying to come to grips with all this. He says when Dalton dropped him and his family off at their hotel, there were police cars out front. When they got to their room, they saw on the news that there was a suspect description of a car, and they realized at that time it matched their Uber car. It wasn't until Sunday morning when they saw the mugshot that they realized that it was likely their Uber driver. Now, Dalton was arrested just 20 minutes after dropping that man and his family off at their hotel. Just 20 minutes, likely the last passenger he had of the night.
And the last passenger, we don't know really how many passengers he drove throughout the day as all of this was happening. So many lives affected in this short span of time. The big question that we're still wondering today, that we're still wrestling with, is that why? Why did this shooting spree happen? Why did he choose the places, the people that he chose? That's a question that we're hoping to shed a little light on today, to get some answers. We want to walk